Hello artists, it's Miss P. I'm back again. We are drawing another facial feature with this video, and we're going to draw a mouth. Now this is just the disclaimer that I'm putting on all these facial features that I'm drawing for you guys and with you guys, that I am doing something just very generic. So whenever you are drawing a particular person, you really want to pay attention to their features, the sizes, the shapes, the textures, the colors, the lights and the darks, all of that. So today we're doing lips, and before we get started, I like to show you ones that are no good. So we will start off with those. That's a cartoon mouth, so none of that. Okay. Also, a cartoon mouth. Cartoon. Just a cartoon. But I have some students, they'll jump in there and they've got a really nice shape on the mouth, but they do this really hard and dark outline. And then a straight line in the middle. And yeah, that is a little closer to what a mouth might actually look like. Unless the person you're drawing has very dark lip liner and a very thin line between the lips, it's not going to look like that. So we're going for a more natural look. And you might be wondering how that's going to happen. When we draw the eyes, we have the eyeball itself and the eye socket and the shapes and the shadows that's created there. And when we do the nose, it's got cartilage in it. But the lips are just fleshy. There's not a whole lot of structure to start with. So I like to start with the center line, and I never make it a straight line, and I vary the value, the darkness. Okay, so then I make a little curvy, and I like to do like a little darker mark right here, the corners of the mouth, because there's usually some shading around there. And I'm going to go in and decide where I want the darker parts of my lines. Okay, so see, it's very sketchy, it's irregular, I do have those darker corners on there, and it is not straight, because your mouth isn't straight. And excuse me. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put in like a very light line, like a place marker of how far I want my lips to go and the shape, but it's very light and it will not be noticeable when we're done. Okay, so I'm going to draw in this little Cupid's bow area here, like when we talked about the nose in the nose video. This is that Cupid bow that connects the mouth to the nose. There's our nose, there's our Cupid bow. Okay, so I'm gonna do like a kind of a medium thickness for our lip here. Just a slight curve there. Very light, very sketchy. If I don't like it, I can always go back and change it because I did draw it very lightly. Okay? And it's not symmetrical. I've mentioned it before, but you guys, seriously, nobody's face is perfectly symmetrical. And if you did draw a face where all the features were perfectly symmetrical, it would look very odd because it's not natural, and that's not what the human brain is used to conceiving. So now I'm going to decide my lower lip. The lower lip is generally, and I say generally, so this is not like a person that I'm looking at and drawing, but the lower lip is usually thicker than the upper lip. So I'm going to come down a little bit further and say, okay, I know I want my lip to come out this far. And shading this out a little bit is fine because there's a shadow under the bottom lip. So I think right now I'm going to just use that line down here for the bottom so that I can blend it out nice and naturally, and I don't look like I have too much of an outline, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the center line and I'm going to shade up, and then I will use my pencil and eraser to put in the little lines you see in the mouth sometimes, the little textures, maybe the little highlights if you're wearing gloss or something. I'm starting off with my number 2 pencil, and when I'm ready to get really dark, I will switch over to my darker pencil. So I'm going to start at the center, and lips are soft. You don't want to have a lot of harsh, hard lines on them. So I'm doing light little circles coming up from the bottom of the lip towards the top. Give it that soft, pillowy look. And again, where I drew the line where the lips meet and some parts were darker, you're also going to have the darker shading in that area too. And notice as I'm getting closer to the top, I'm getting lighter. And I don't like that outline, so I'm just going to erase it. Just sort of reinforcing my dark areas. I'm not quite ready to move on to my darker pencil. I just wanted to get this kind of started in with the values. And it's already starting to look like a mouth. And if you were drawing someone with very natural lips, or they're not wearing any makeup, or if they're male, they would look like the bottom lip would look a lot like this, and all it has is the shadow underneath it. There is more that has to go on there, but you can manipulate what you do with the shadow according to the gender you're looking for, or natural or more of a made-up kind of look. Okay, the bottom lip, notice I didn't put the line there at all. Intentionally, I just put the shadow underneath it because I wanted to show you how to work from the center line and down. See, with the upper lip, we worked from the center line and up, and here we're going to work center line and down. Now, generally, the bottom lip does not go out all the way to the edges like the upper lip does. I mean, it does occasionally, but for the most part, it doesn't. I'm keeping it light because it needs to be lighter than the upper lip. And why is that? Why is the upper lip darker, generally speaking? It's because usually the light is coming from up here, and the lip kind of sticks out a little bit at an angle, and so it's going to have more shading on it. Keeping on working with that lower lip, and here I'm going to do something kind of different. Where it's right next to the line, I am going to make it a little bit darker. Because it is the upper lip's casting a shadow on the lower lip. And then this part right here is just going to be very light. The center part that pokes out the most. Okay, well, I think I've got things kind of where I want them. So now I'm ready to go in with my 8B pencil. It's a woodless pencil, so it's like this whole thing is graphite, no wood, and there's 8B, it gets really dark. So I'm just going to go in the areas at first that I know are going to be super dark. Putting those in. And kind of continue with that circular shading motion to keep it soft. Okay. Alright, I'm going to stop right there because it's starting to look a little muddled, and the lower lip is looking the same value as the upper lip. So I'm going to take my big eraser and I'm just going to press it in on the lower lip to remove some of that graphite. I don't want to erase because I don't want to like make it completely go away. I'm just pressing it on there and it removes some of the graphite. So it makes it a little bit lighter for me. Okay. I think that I want to use my tortilla now because I want to blend it out and make it look kind of smooth. Remember, when using graphite, never ever shade with your fingers. The oils in your skin do not react well with the graphite. Some other mediums it's okay to work with, you know, but depending on the toxicity of the media that you're using. But this isn't about toxicity. This is about ruining your drawing with smudgy fingerprints everywhere. And I'm keeping with that very soft, very light circular motion. And I'm going to extend my shading out on the edges there a little bit, in the corners of the mouth. I think that makes a nice little addition there. Okay, and I'm going to move on down to the lower lip. Okay, I think I'm ready now to make my upper lip darker. I'm just gonna go back with my pencil top eraser because it's smaller and kind of press it with my eraser on the paper. I'm not erasing back and forth, just pressing because I want to remove some of it, not all of it. Okay, so now the upper lip, I'm going to shade in a little bit darker using my 8B pencil. Still using those circular motions, even though it's been blended out, you still want to keep that softness. And remember that those places on the line between the lips where you got darker, you want to keep them darker. So you'll have to go back over those as well. Okay, I'm gonna use my tortilla again just to kind of soften some of these lines up, and also because I want to get some graphite on my tortilla because I'm going to use it as a drawing tool here. I'm going to use it for my Cupid's bow. Okay, and I'm going to put in my little shadow here that's underneath the bottom lip. I didn't put a whole lot of graphite on there because I don't want it to get too dark. So there, spread it out a little bit. And I think what we're going to do next, my lovelies, is we are going to put some details on these lips. Okay, so sometimes lips have lines in them. It's just the way they are. Not that people are especially wrinkly. It's just a normal thing. So, you know, you might want to go in and put those lines in there. And when you do, don't make them super dark. Make them very subtle and curve them because the lip is curved. So you want to do lines that are also curved. Okay? And irregularly, remember, because nothing about us humans is geometrically perfect. And yeah, I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. Just going over it lightly with my tortilla and not pressing hard at all. Just want to soften things up. And you know, my favorite, my electric eraser, has to make an appearance, but first, always remember to clean the tip of your eraser. I do that by just turning it on and pressing it onto the paper. And that way you can get a point on it too. But there shouldn't be anything left on it when you start, so yeah, a little bit more. Okay, great, and I've gotten it into a nice little point. So I could put some nice little highlights in there. Maybe I'm gonna tap it. Nice little highlights in there. Nice little highlights. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you learned something from it, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with your project. See you later, artists.